What you know, Alibis. Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It's Thursday, April 24th, day 3 of the retrial of Karen Reed. Testimony ended early, about 12:30 for the day. There was an issue with a witness. Tomorrow, they're going on a view, and she told the jurors it's a half day and they would be finished by 1. So I will find out about the stream time. Keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel. And by the way, if you're not subscribed over there, don't forget to hit subscribe, like the video, and share this series with anybody you think might be interested. This morning, we had Daniel Whitley back on the stand. He is a Canton EMT and firefighter. He was finishing up on cross-exam. They basically attack prior testimony about Karen's defiance and giving a urine sample at the hospital, and then whether or not she asked in general terms if someone could be in the snow without a jacket and live. The defense goes through variations in its answers between the grand jury testimony, the first trial, and yesterday, and that wrapped it up. On redirect, the Commonwealth asks, was the grand jury testimony as in-depth as here? And the witness said no. Next up was the general manager at CF McCarthy's. And then also right after that, they had the manager of the Waterfall Bar and Grill. Both of them were just laying foundation for these surveillance videos that are going to come in at a later time. The next witness was Michael Camerano. He's married with a 14 and a 17-year-old. He met John at his sister's benefit back in 2013. And later on, their kids played sports together and the two men got close. January 28th of 2022, they had made plans to meet up. Their daughters got acceptance letters to go to the same school, and they wanted to celebrate. And then later on, the two of them would hang out. He went to John's and had a little celebration with just the girls. Then the two men left together. The witness drove and they went to CF McCarthy's. When they got there, it was just the two of them and they both were drinking. Karen came within an hour and also a friend of his came in. He said everybody was drinking. He got a call around 9:30 or 10 that night that his son lost a tooth playing hockey in the backyard. And so when he left, John stayed behind and Karen was with him. He went to go pick his daughter up from John's house. Then he went home and went to bed. He woke up to missed calls from his wife and Karen. So he called his wife and then he got in his car and drove to John's house around 5 or 6 in the morning to get John's niece because she was home alone. He saw the garage door was open and so he goes in. John's niece came out and the witness asked if she needed anything. His niece was upset and he was just trying to reassure her. She left with him and went to his house to hang out with his daughter. A couple of hours later, John's brother Paul called and said to bring his niece home. The witness was told John was dead. He didn't tell the niece what had happened, but he said she had a feeling and she didn't want to go home. He gets emotional when he's recounting this. Paul and Papa were at the side door and he said they hugged. He didn't stay long, but he did go back the next day and he said lots of people were coming and going. On cross, he met Karen through John and spent a lot of time with the both of them. The defense talks about how his kids would go on vacation with Karen and John. His daughter would spend time with Karen alone, and she was good with the kids. He said John and Karen's interactions were normal over the time he knew them as a couple. Of course, they bickered, and he said John would get upset if Karen bought expensive things for the kids. John did mention to the witness that he didn't understand why Karen had a plumber come to the house when she had someone who would do it for free. That night, he did see the two of them affectionate, having fun, just hanging out. Was there jealousy in the relationship? And the witness said he thought at times Karen didn't want other women around John. The next witness, Nicholas Guarino, he was up yesterday. He's bringing in more cell phone evidence. He explains how he puts the extractions into the Celebrite software and can get most information investigators are looking for. So he got several different call logs and text messages. The ones we're going to go over today are between John and Karen from January 28th of 2022 through January 29th. He mentions there was a chat between Karen and Ingrid the morning of the 29th, and also there was a group chat between Karen, Ingrid, and Bill Curtis. They move into the text between Karen and John. I'm not going to say the time for each text. When there is a time gap, I'll mention it, but this is all right now on January 28th. Karen, you have really hurt me this time. 10:02 a.m. John, I'm sorry. This has been an issue with me for 8 years. It physically hurts me to see everyone else in their life do things for them, and I'm forced to always be the bad guy. Karen, I'm not the same as everyone else. Most of the time, I try to do what's healthy and smart for them. Most importantly, I try to support you and what you need. You lashed out at me and said terrible things. I don't know how you've gotten to this point with me when I'm just trying my hardest. You made your point and continue to beat me down. I have a lot going on too. Physically, I'm falling apart and trying to get answers and help. I'm just your girlfriend. I'm not a perfect parent. I am trying very hard and sometimes treat them nothing like I used to. John, I know. I'm sorry for lashing out. I'm just hurting and struggle daily with them. I always feel like I'm failing at this parenting thing. I wasn't built for this. Couple of hours later, 12:21 p.m., Karen, your niece isn't perfect, but everything perfect and wonderful about her is because of you. John sends an emoji. Karen, it's true. I know she's her mother's daughter, but she wouldn't be so bright and successful if she lived with anyone else. Karen, wow. Kristen just sent 2 back-to-back messages. Do not lose your faith in the kids or yourself. John sends 2 emojis. Karen, no. Life can pick you up sometimes. Please be happy with them and put away your frustrations for the rest of the day and be so proud of yourself, JJ. John, that's what bothers me more than anything. Should have sent pegs for Sarah's W-2s. We're all equal guardians. Karen, maybe you can call someone. John, like who? What time are you coming here? There was another text from John at 2:05 p.m. and it was an emoji. Karen, I don't know what time. Feeling out of it, just trying to clear my head. John, okay. Karen, text me when you guys settle in later. And John says, sure. 2:16 p.m. Karen, I feel pretty crappy about how this morning went down. I know you said sorry, but it really stung. Especially when I've been trying pretty hard lately. I feel like a loser turning around just coming back over after everything you said. John, not sure what else you want me to do. I said I'm sorry and I was out of line. If you prefer to stay home, I totally get it. Karen, things in my life have been pretty difficult too, you know? John says, I know. 2:17, Karen calls John. They talk for 2 minutes and 22 seconds. 2:23, Karen calls John and they talk for 1 minute and 2 seconds. 2:24, Karen calls John and that is rejected. 2:25, Karen, tell me if you're interested in someone else. Can't think of any other reason you've been like this. John, nope. Things haven't been great between us for a while. Ever consider that? 2:28, Karen calls John. That's rejected. 2:29, John said the kids are here, not in the mood to talk. Karen, so you're not into it anymore? That's fine, but I don't want to keep trying and you keep treating me like this. I'm trying to hug and kiss you this morning and you whack me in the face with a pillow. Last night was basically like, yeah, what about when we talk about the future? So why don't you just admit you're not into me so much anymore? John, not how it went down, but okay. Karen, can you please admit your head is out of the game with us? John, sick of always arguing and fighting. It's been weekly for several months now, so yeah, I'm not as quick to jump back into being lovey-dovey as you apparently. 2:32, Karen calls John. It's rejected, and then he texts, oh my God, stop calling. Karen, why would you start with me this morning? You're setting me up to fail. You start a number of fights from your end. John, I've explained it a few times already, not doing it again. Karen, so you're not into this anymore? John, not into fighting all the time, correct? Karen, if you tell me you're interested in someone else, you will never hear from me again. You can have all the space in the world. John responds with an eye roll emoji. Karen, then stop starting with me. At 2:34, she calls John, it's rejected. John, I'm not answering, stop calling. Karen, can you please answer after how you treated me earlier? At 2:34, Karen calls John, it's rejected. He texts, his niece is right there. Karen, you start a rager with me out of nowhere and then tell me you're sick of fighting with me. I'm going to grab a drink in a bit. She calls John again at 2:38. It's rejected. She texts, can you please answer? John, no, Karen. Not sure why you need to announce that you're grabbing a drink, but have fun. Karen, seeing if you want to meet later. Can you call me, please? John, have to take them to the DR. He has practice. Karen, yeah, 5 minutes. 2:43, she calls, no answer. Calls again at 2:43. That call is rejected. John, my father just walked in. Karen, okay, can you please call me for 2 minutes? John, not right now. We're up to 2:44 p.m. Karen, I'm there when anyone else needs me. 2:45, she calls John. It's rejected. Then she texts, yes, John, you gave me utter grief this morning. I'd like you to call me for a minute. I've been trying to get over the hump with this arguing, and now you're telling me you're not into things and you don't want to fight weekly, but fly off the handle at 8 a.m. with me, like you're setting me up to fail. I've been dealing with my own personal crisis over things I have zero control over. I'd like to lean on you too sometimes. Instead, I just hear everything I've done wrong. 2:50 and 2:51, Karen calls John rejected. She calls again, 2:52, 2:53, and there's no answer. Karen, you seriously can't pick up the phone for 2 seconds? She calls John at 2:58. That's rejected. 2:59, Karen calls John and they talk for 4 minutes and 59 seconds. It's 3:08 p.m. at this point. Karen, why don't you meet me at the hillside between 4:30 and 5? John sends an eye roll emoji. Karen, okay, whenever you get everyone settled. John, like I said, DR now, and he has practice till 6. If you want to go start drinking, then go for it. Karen, I don't know the time of his practice. I want to give you some space at the house without me there. So rather meet you out than meet at the house. John, yeah, well, now there's a 72-year-old taking up shop on my couch. Karen, yeah, that too. Is he going to Collins? John, not tonight. Karen, so do you plan on going out tonight? John, I don't know. You're jonesing to drink, so go. Karen, okay, well, after how this morning went down, I don't think I need to be back over there with you. You get frustrated at how I am with the kids. Has nothing to do with drinking. I'm paranoid now that everything I do with them is problematic. So, rather see you for a minute without the kids around. 4:47, John texts Karen, what's your plan? She doesn't have one. John, so still home? Yes. John, we just got home, waiting to see what Papa decides, here or else. I have to go get my nephew at 6. Karen says, okay. John, so are you staying home or coming here? Karen, waiting to see what you end up doing. I don't want to hang out at the house too much, like I said. I think it's clear me around with the kids is slowly killing our relationship. And our relationship is much more important to me. John, well, there's a blizzard coming, so we'll be inside all weekend. Karen, I'll be over by noon tomorrow. And John says, don't think so. Karen, I don't want to keep having this constant conflict of the dynamic of the four of us. The harder I try, the more it kills our relationship as a couple. I feel like utter crap to be in this position. Rather just meet you out for drinks when you figure out what your night looks like. John, well, I have no idea what's going on, so do what you want. Need to figure out what everyone is doing. All I know now is Madeline is coming over. No clue about Patrick yet, or if Papa is planning on hanging out for a few more hours. Karen, okay, well, when you know the story and if you want me to come up, let me know. John, no, Karen, you decide what you want to do. Karen, I know your heart isn't in this anymore. I've felt it for a while, and especially lately. I'm willing to try more, but not if you're approaching the point of indifference. If you want me to come up and you can head out for a while, then say so when you know what your father is doing. John, you come up and I'll head out? Really? He puts an eye roll emoji. I told you already, I don't bounce back as quickly as you do after we have a battle. Karen, no, head out together. Eye roll emoji put in there, or meet out. John, gonna send Patrick to Collins tonight. They're picking him up around 7. Mike may hang too when he brings Mad over. So why don't you just come over? Karen, Mike doesn't want to go out for a bit. I would like to. Been a crap day from the jump. John, probably. I just got sober an hour ago. Karen, I'll let you hang with Mike for a few. Don't need to butt in. Text me when and if you think you may head out. Can you send me Tim's contact information, please? John says I paid the last bill. Karen, you didn't have to do that. Thanks. Are you really not going to accept my friend request? John puts an eye roll emoji and says, on what, Facebook? Karen, yeah, we've been going out for 2 years. John says, I haven't gone on. You defriended me over a year ago, I believe. Karen, Carrie texted they're headed out in a bit, and John says, okay. Karen says she's going to let me know where, and John says, so you're going to meet them. Karen says, just presenting it as an option. Wouldn't mind hanging out with them for a drink. Is Mike over? John says, yes. Karen, sounds like you're good with getting together tonight. Was hoping this morning you'd be interested in smoothing things over with me. John, told you to come over, but you insisted on meeting me out somewhere. Karen, Mike is a little off with me for a while now. I've said that multiple times. John says, time to get over it, Karen. He's fine. He was fine the other night when he came by. Karen, yeah, just wouldn't mind hanging out with other people, like another female too. This is up to 6:39 p.m. and John says, where are you meeting them? Karen, I don't have plans with them. She just said they're headed out in a bit and will text when they land somewhere. If you want to go out with Mike, that's fine. Just let me know. John, I already told you what you should do. Not going to keep doing this. Karen, I asked to let me know if you guys are going to head out. I haven't been out for drinks this week and I've had a crap week and a crap day. And I dread Kaylee or Pat is going to get chatty with me the second I walk in, and that's going to irritate you. John, Pat is leaving. Kaylee is with Mad Cam. I'll text Chris then. At 7:06, he texts Karen, we're headed out shortly. What's your plan, Karen? Karen, do you want me to join or no? John says, yes, wasn't sure if you were meeting with the Curans. Karen says, they're not out drinking yet. Where are you headed? John says, trying to decide, maybe McCarthy's. Karen, okay, then let me know what you decide. I'm still down in M Field. John, text me when you leave. Still waiting on McKinney's. Karen, I'm having issues with my hot water, so had to text someone to take a look. John responds with an eye roll emoji. You trying to piss me off? Hope your plumber buddy you texted is hot. Karen, nope. My shower only got lukewarm and now my sink won't run hot at all. The plumber I used to use is right down the road. I turned that temp thing in the basement all the way up. He says, check the water heater and see if it's leaking. And Karen says it's not. John says, don't do that. Is it the pilot light? Karen, I was just trying to get my shower hot. Yes. John says, don't turn it all the way up. It'll burn out. Karen, I had this issue twice before and it wasn't a disaster. I just can't remember what the cause was. John, just turn it back on to where it was and get over here. Karen, I don't want to come home in a blizzard and then really be up the creek. And John says, so you're not going home tonight? Karen says, or tomorrow or whenever. I've had a chill day since my shower. John says, it's going to snow all day tomorrow. No driving. We're headed to McCarthy's. Karen, okay, let me know if you end up leaving. John says, why? Now you're not coming? Karen says, I'm waiting for the plumber. I actually think he's in the driveway. John, we're taking Mike's car, so I'm relying on you for a ride home if he leaves. Karen, he's not going home after? John says 8 o'clock on a Friday and puts what looked to be a wink emoji. He may have to go get Michael. You have a plumber coming over at 8 o'clock, knowing me and Papa could have handled it. Good luck. Karen, I've always told you I will not put either of you out of your way the way everyone else in your life does. I knew it wasn't working right when you were at the doctor's with Kaylee, and I knew neither of you could get here. And this guy, Richie, fixed it the last time, whatever it was. He was supposed to be here at 5. If it's not a quick fix, I'll tell him to forget it. John says, if you need a new water heater, don't let him do it. Karen says, he's here now. If it's not quick, I'm not doing it. I just want to be sure nothing is wrong or will go wrong when I'm not home. He's not a scammer. Half the quick stuff he does, he doesn't even charge me for. He just puts the toilet seats on crooked. John, at 8:09 p.m., texts Karen and asks, status? Karen says, still here with an eye roll emoji. Said he's got to go to Home Depot and will probably be back mañana. John says, so? And Karen puts an I don't know emoji, just trying to figure out if I'll be here. He asks, what does it need? Karen says, I don't know. He showed me some piece that was all rusted. I don't understand half the stuff. John, on the water heater? Yes. John says, tell him to leave it. I'll take care of it Sunday or Monday. Karen says, no, it's okay. I can either meet him here or just shut off the alarm. He used to work here while I was at work. John, does he realize it will be whiteout conditions tomorrow? Karen says, yeah, but he lives right down the road. John, Karen, this storm is going to be intense. Can't drive. Karen says, okay, well, if he can't, he can't. John says, I'll do it on Monday. Karen, I better not have this problem on Monday. John, you plan on being there? Karen says she doesn't know, but she can take a hot shower here if needed. John, figured you'd be in Canton till Monday. I'm getting off my phone, so let me know what you're doing. Karen, I think the 4 of us together is toxic to this relationship. Would like to limit it, but you've said so yourself probably for a year now. John says, blizzard tomorrow. Nobody is going anywhere. Karen, maybe I'll come back late tonight. Bad snow is in the early morning. This is at 8:35 p.m. I'll head up there in a few minutes. Let me know if you leave. John responds with an eye roll emoji and says, sure. There were other texts between the two going on past midnight into January 29th of 2022. The judge is going to release the witness, but he will be recalled at a later date. After the witness is off the stand, they show a few interview clips that Karen has done. The first is from Dateline. When you walked out of the bar, how many drinks did you have? She said, probably about 4, and not 4 that I completed. I don't drink drinks, maybe more than 6 at the Waterfall. The interviewer, and you felt fine to drive? And Karen said, yep. Another clip is with Gretchen Dross, and that's on June 20th, 2023. Karen talks about drinking a drink about every 40 minutes and admits she was buzzed. Another clip is from an Investigation Discovery docuseries from June 15th, 2024. Her final count of alcohol intake was probably about 5 or 6 or 4. The drinks they poured at McCarthy's was the weakest vodka tonic. all soda water, watered down, and John told her to get a shot and pour it in. Karen asked for a shot and said it tasted the normal strength. I had 2 or 3 being counted as 4 or 6, and I don't know. I felt like I was buzzed at the last one that I would count as 3, but they're counting it as my 6th. The guys got shots, and what they didn't drink, they poured into mine. That was a vodka tonic with 2 shots. John said to take it with her. They go to Waterfall, and she says that was her 5th, 6th, and 7th drinks. John orders me one, but takes it with him. I did not consume 9 vodka martinis or take 9 vodka shots, and the last 2 drinks I didn't touch. The same docuseries from April of 2024. Karen says I was not as clear as I would be if I hadn't been drinking. Could I have hit him, run over his foot, hit his knee, incapacitated him? I always blast my music. John got out to go into Fairview. I've had a few cocktails but didn't black out, but I was not as lucid as I would have been if I had drink at 9 and then drink tea. Another clip from an interview. She says she wouldn't have gotten on the expressway that night. The roads were quiet, and when I have a few drinks, I drive extra slowly. My mind alerts isn't as sharp as they should be. I shouldn't have been driving. I was driving safely, but not as alert as if I had no alcohol. There were no more witnesses for today. It seems like there was a mix-up. Tomorrow, the jury is going on a view outside of the courthouse, and it's a half day, and it will end at 1. As soon as that stream goes live, we'll go live on the channel, so come watch with us. But that is it for day 3 in the Karen Read retrial testimony recap. Hope you guys have a good rest of your evening, and we will see you soon.